guys, the banging. I hope it's not gonna ruin the video. It might ruin the video, but you know what? It is what it is. We're already doing it. Video ruined. Day ruined. I'm actually filming these out of order. I'm starting with this one today because I was just in a bad mood and grief has been on my mind. So I was like, let me just start with that. It's my least favorite song on the project because I wish it didn't exist. And I always skip it when I listen to it. And like, I probably won't ever perform it live. I feel like I should say a trigger warning for mentions of death and suicide, or maybe you're just like in a light, cozy mood today. This might be a good one to skip. I'm sitting here in my living room. The floor is cozier. I'm drinking a Celsius. Celsius gang, rise up. This one's watermelon. Anyway, this is also my first YouTube video ever, which is kind of iconic. I'm a big YouTube fan. I love YouTubers. I love watching YouTube. I love having it on. Like, to me, it's very comforting. I live alone, so I like feeling like people are talking to me. Where do I fucking start? I actually put together some little notes. Some drafts. So I write all of my songs in the Notes app. Originally, I was gonna end the project with this song, but it was just like too sad. I was like, I have to put a happy one at the end. I don't know what, it's a mood killer. Okay, so I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the seasons changing or just like the holidays coming around, but I'm feeling very griefy lately and very sad. Like, I kind of keep reliving it, and I was telling Lindsay, my girlfriend, the other day that it's kind of weird how it will just randomly hit you sometimes. Like, I'll get up and like go to my kitchen and like make a snack, and then I'm like, oh yeah, like my person's dead. And then you like go back to work, and it's like not normal. So that's been hitting me a lot recently. I don't like this song. This is actually like a really terrible song, and I wish it wasn't true. I started writing it when my dad went into the hospital. I was looking back at texts last night, like trying to think about this and like remember how it happened. But basically, my dad was in the hospital, and I texted Justin, my producer, on April 29th, and I said, I was wondering if you would be able to send me a piano ballad or track to write to. If you have any, let me know, and if not, no worries. And literally 8 minutes later, he sent me the track, which became the song, and I started writing to it. So basically, I started writing it when he was in the hospital, and I finished writing it the summer after he died, which you'll kind of hear because I talk about my birthday. I was extremely manic during like the second half of April and all of May, and like honestly kind of all of summer. Like, it was a damn mess. But I was kind of like, I would kind of revisit this song. It was still like COVID precautions during that time, so we couldn't all visit him at once. Like, my mom, my sister, and I were like taking different turns essentially. So if I wasn't seeing him until the afternoon, like I had all morning at my childhood home, so I was just like literally walking, like pacing the street, and like I had made a playlist of like songs that he loved that like I was like playing for him in the hospital, and then I was just heavily in the Notes app writing, and that's pretty much how I feel. Like, music for the most part is really therapeutic for me because I have that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I have like shit I need to say. And then luckily, like basically this whole EP essentially is me. This has happened so many times where it's like I'm feeling a feeling and I text the producer and I'm like, please send me beats, send me something because I need to write. And then they send it to me and then I write it, and then that's it. That's a song. Like, Notes app. So the morning after my dad died, I was scheduled for a therapy appointment. Like the morning after, like he passed late, like during the night, and then that following morning at like, I don't know, whatever time, who knows, I had therapy, and I didn't cancel it. But basically my therapist told me that life is for the living. She said a lot more stuff, but that was one of them. And I realized that like basically the rest of my time here would be spent trying to figure out like how to stay alive when I didn't want to be alive anymore. Like that's still true, because grief really fucks up your head and your mental state, and like I just didn't want to participate anymore. Like I didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't want to be in life. I didn't want to be doing anything because I'm just, it's not, nothing's normal. Something like literally breaks within you. It's very not good. Okay, but before this video literally doesn't make sense. I'm like, oh, I want to talk about the song, and like I'm not even talking about the song. But I did on this topic, because like I've been thinking about this too. I don't know who this quote is from, so if anyone knows, I guess comment. Help me find it. I really like this, but it's great loss is wasted if we do not use it over time to discover what lies beyond great loss. And then there are more things I'm thinking about. I actually haven't read this yet, but I feel like people would send me these quotes like a lot, so it's on my list of things I want to read. But this is from The Wild Edge of Sorrow by Francis Weller, and the quote is, "Grief and love are sisters, woven together from the beginning. Their kinship reminds us there is no love that does not contain loss, and no loss that is not a reminder of the love we carry for what we once held close." Grief is submersive, undermining the quiet agreement to behave and be in control of our emotions. It is an act of protest that declares our refusal to live numb and small. There is something feral about grief, something essentially outside the ordained and sanctioned behaviors of our culture. Because of that, grief is necessary to the vitality of the soul. Contrary to our fears, grief is suffused with life force. It is not a state of deadness or emotional flatness. Grief is alive, wild, untamed, and cannot be domesticated. It resists the demands to remain passive and still. We move in jangled, unsettled, and riotous ways when grief takes hold of us. It is truly an emotion that rises from the soul. Yikes, that like could not be more true, because I feel like one of the lyrics that I wrote that actually didn't make the song is that like you broke something within me and released it in the same day, because it basically forces you to be alive, because since you don't want to be alive anymore when you lose someone you love, and I'm not speaking for anyone else's experience, like maybe this is just me and everyone else doesn't think this, but when you lose someone you love, yikes, you either completely shut down or you're like, I don't want to be alive anyway, so what is the best I can make of this situation? Like it had me in high gear. Like I finished the remodel of my home, I changed jobs, I left a relationship that was really hurting me. I couldn't deal with anything that was like, I couldn't deal with anything, but I couldn't deal with anything that was going to make life like worse or harder. And then I was like, I have to do the music. Like that's what I want to do. So like it pushed me forward kind of in every element, because, and I also wasn't sleeping, so I was getting a lot done. It was just like I had to get everything done, and I had to live life and do things basically like on my terms and like the things I had really been wanting to do. Ooh, this one is ouch. When our grief cannot be spoken, it falls into the shadow and re-arises in us as symptoms. So many of us are depressed, anxious, and lonely. We struggle with addictions and find ourselves moving at a breathless pace, trying to keep up with the machinery of culture. That's another thing. My grief made me very unhinged. Like, normally, like even with how this song came about, normally I would like second guess and like have to do things in the right way. But I literally just texted Justin and I was like, hey, I need to write, like I'm sad, like I'm going through something. And he sent it to me. And it's like weird, like I would just basically throw out anything I was thinking and like not really have a filter and not really care because I'm like, I don't care. I don't like when you, I don't know. Whew. I don't want to keep saying like, I don't want to be alive, but like that's genuinely how it feels sometimes. And that's how I felt at the time. I'm like, there's no point. Like, who cares? I'm doing whatever. I love you in so many ways. Can't believe I won't see your face. That was like the first thing that poured out of me. That's kind of what I had in mind initially when I like asked for a piano ballad. And then I knew that I wanted to flip it in the second, like in the later verse, instead of I love you, you love me in so many ways. I do really believe that we need our people and our people need us. And I like to think that my dad is just hanging around, up, above, like what? I can't, like whatever. You get what I mean, right? I like to think that he's around, and I know that I still like really need him, and I like to think that he still needs me too and still wants to know how I'm doing and like what I'm up to, because that brought his life meaning. So I love when I hear those words. I love when I'm in a situation and I'm like, oh, I know exactly like what he would say or how he would react to that. That's something my mom and I talk about a lot. He was always just like telling me to not, like, don't sweat it. He would very much encourage a sick day. He would very much encourage like opting out of situations that were stressful. And he would tell me like, don't worry about it. That's like always what he would say. Like the way I lost him was really tragic and pretty sudden and unexpected, but I'm thankful that I got to be with him. I think dying is one of like the weirdest life experiences you could have. So if it were me, I would want to be surrounded with people I love. And I'm just happy that I was there in his like hardest moments. And yeah, I love him. I'm gonna post some photos. He had like the best smile ever. And it put everyone at ease. Like he was the type of person, he would literally make friends like in an elevator, at the pharmacy. He would talk to everyone. My dad he's an example of someone who just got like a really bad deal in life. Again, without going into the details, like a lot of family, like childhood trauma, a ton of chronic pain. So it's like just the fact that he could rise above that and still be like an amazing, loving dad is crazy. And I feel very lucky. They say time will heal, but it doesn't have to. I mean, I would hope that people are done saying that. I think it's kind of known now, like, to just not say that shit. Or like, it'll get better in time, it'll happen for a reason, like, or everything happens for a reason. Like, no. Like, we're not doing any of that. Any grieving person you meet is like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I never want to hear you say that again. I will say it's fewer gut punch moments over time. And you learn how to cope with it, and you learn, I don't know, never mind, I take it back. You don't learn anything. I can't believe I'm talking about this in the past tense. This is like tripping me out as I'm doing this, and I kind of hate it, but it's already happening. Also, there's like very loud banging outside. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Mom is telling me how much she misses all the sweet things you'd say. He was so sweet, and I think my mom, it's hard because when you're used to cooking for two and creating a home for two people and, oh, you guys, the banging. I hope it's not going to ruin the video. It might ruin the video, but you know what? It is what it is. We're already doing it. Video ruined. Day ruined. Turning 29, but my friends, yeah, that line... My birthday was coming around and I was like, birthdays are hard. And I think birthdays are hard because ain't shit to celebrate. Like, and also the passage of time, just in general, I think that's why the holidays are hard too. Like everything just feels not good. I do still take myself to his favorite spots sometimes, and it feels like we're hanging out a little bit. It's sad. It's pathetic, but it makes me feel good, and his number one spot is LBJ's, and he gets one chicken taco and a rice and beans, and if you are ever in LA, you need to go to El Burrito Jr.'s and get that order. It is perfect. It's just like a delicious Mexican food, fried hard shell taco situation. And it's the best. I can hardly look in the mirror because I just see your face. This one, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's bad. It was really painful. Like, that was really painful. Because if I really stare into my eyes sometimes, I feel like I see him. And it's, in some ways it's nice because I'm like, I can like kind of absorb like, or think about his expression or how that feels. But for the most part, it's kind of painful because I'm just like, it would just like remind me of him. And I feel like this whole grieving process is totally like, you allow yourself to feel the emotions until you can't, and then you shut it down. And then you feel the emotions, and then like, you know, so like sometimes it's too much. But yeah, after he died, I definitely avoided mirrors for a while. Like, I didn't even want to like be like reminded it was too much. So I hate that I look like him, but I also love that I look like him. You just had to be the reason I'm not weak. Yeah. He didn't give up. And he would always tell me that. He was always like proud of me, and he struggled with a lot of the same mental health stuff that I do. So it was this weird thing where it's like, I was feeling so low after he died, but his love and who he is as a person is the reason why I kept going. Okay, so funny story about the bridge. Do you know who sings the song I'll Be Right Here All Night Long? I literally didn't realize until I finished it that like that's an inside joke that nobody would understand. So I'm gonna explain it. Yeah, because I mean, I didn't really share my music with anyone. I like sent it to my sister and my mom, but I was like, wait, this is like, no one's gonna know what this means. And it's just like an inside joke between me and my dad, but like it's fine. So basically, okay, so the story behind this line, when he would like drive me to school, he would always play K-Earth 101 on the radio. Ew, I'm old. But yeah, K-Earth 101. And anyway, so I'm like 6 or 7 years old, and he's like, do you know who sings this song? Like about every song. And then it would be like, I don't know, Paul McCartney. I knew the Beatles, but like I didn't know like if it was something obscure, if it was like, who the fuck, like I'm blanking right now. This is, you know, Smokey Robinson, and this is Eric Clapton, and blah, 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 blah. It was like Motown, okay? Think like Motown hits. But I'm like, I'm 6 years old. Like, of course I don't know who sings this song. And then, so basically it would happen all the time. But he would be like, do you know who sings this song? To me and my sister. And we'd like not know. And then he'd tell us. It's really simple, but that really stuck with me. Let me pull up, actually, I have like a playlist of like his music. David Bowie, like, you know what I mean? It's like, but he would still do that, like even later in life, like when he was at like his computer and would just be playing like whatever music, like if I were to walk by and I was getting ready or something, he would be like, do you know who sings this song? Yeah, he like loved the Rolling Stones, Def Leppard. Yeah, it was like, I'm like, I don't know who that is. But I learned a lot. Time still moving now that you're gone feels wrong. That was actually one of the first lines I wrote. So I kind of built around that. And then there's like a lot of lyrics that didn't make the cut. Like when I go through the notes app, I always see all of those. Just want to hold you on your worst days, be there for the hardest, wish I could go with you if I'm being honest. I don't know. Oh my god, I didn't even talk about like the craziest part of the song. So when I played it for Justin, he was like, I totally hear a choir for the do you know who sings the song part. So It was really sweet. Basically, Tiara and Nat, my friends, ended up doing the choir part with me along with Justin and his wife Reese. And it was really special. Like, I didn't take any photos from that night, and I wish I did because I wish I had the memory, but honestly, I kind of blacked out on the whole production of this song. Like, I didn't want to do it, and I hate the song, so I'm just like, what? Like, I'm not really here right now. But they came, and we all did the choir parts together at his studio, and it was so amazing. Like, I just felt so supported and like so loved and held, and they're amazing. So if you're watching this, Tiara and Nat, thank you so much for being in my choir. It definitely added something crazy to the song. I feel like that it's religious sounding. As an ex-church girl, I don't know what I am. I'm something. I kind of rambled a lot, but that song means a lot to me, and I'm excited for you to hear it, or if this is coming out this is probably coming out once the song is out. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it helps you. And if maybe you're grieving or you know someone who's gone through that, I hope it, I don't know, helps or gives you a song to cry to. My sister said that she listens to this when she really wants to cry and like let herself be upset. She's like, I put on this song and I can just like let it out. So that's cool. I want everyone to have the freedom to do that, because it's like feels literally insane that we'll go through life pretending that things are okay when it's not, and it just gets buried, and we like apologize for crying and being upset, but that's like my resting state. Like, I'm always upset. Like, that's I think what grief does is like the baseline is so bad, like you miss your person, so it's like anything that happens outside of that is like, wow, amazing, and basically putting memories in between the time you lose your person and then, like, you know, your life's end. It's like, how am I gonna fill that space? I wish the song didn't exist, but I love how it turned out. And I think for me it's a good feeling with this one, because it's one of those things, I listen to it and I feel like it perfectly encapsulates that feeling from start to finish for me, and it is therapeutic. In the off chance that I do listen to it, it is therapeutic. So that's all I got. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my music. Okay, bye.